Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time joining me, thank you so much. I'm so very glad that you're here. Today we're doing another reverse color along, and it is this snake page from this book, and it is so super easy, I promise. So meet me on the other side and we'll get started. Here we go. So as I stated in the intro, we're coloring from the book Fairy Tales and Folklore. Now this is a reverse color along. So if you're new to my channel, what is a reverse color along? Well, this is a color along where I will present you with the completed page, and then I will also present you with this cheat sheet on everything you need to know about how to complete this page. And what I will do is I will walk you through each of the color combos where they belong on the page, and the background, etc. I will post a video where I first introduced the concept of the reverse color along. I think if you watch the first maybe 4 or 5 minutes, you'll get the idea. But this saves me time instead of creating a long color along where we start out with a blank page and you actually watch me color it and we color it together. I don't have the time for that. So this is an easier way for me to still help you guys with your coloring pages while giving you all the tools that you need. All right, that said, so this is a snake and it happens to be the year of the snake. So that's pretty cool, right? I didn't realize when I was coloring this that it was the year of the snake until somebody pointed it out to me. So this is probably the easiest reverse color along I will have on my channel at the time I post this. It's only 4 color combinations, as you can see here. So what we'll do, we're going to get started with these leaves. So let me grab some pencils for the leaf combo and I'll be right back and we'll get started. All right, for the leaves, we're going to use sky blue light, sap green light, and sandbar brown. And you can see here, it's going to be sky blue light on the outside, sap green in here all the way to the stem, then sandbar brown, and then I'll go back the other way, coloring the sap green over the brown, and then finishing up with a little more sky blue light at the end. This is actually dark brown. So here, what we'll do, we have some similar leaves on this intro page. So let me zoom in real quick. Okay, so now that I've zoomed in, we could color these leaves. They are very similar to the leaves we have back here. So what we'll do is I start out with the sky blue light. And again, these are the Prismacolor set of 150. I'm not sure if these colors are available in the other sets or not. For those of you that are new to my reverse color alongs, in addition to the cheat sheet, I have a coffee link that I'll post to my account on the coffee site. And it will be a packet. So you'll have not only this cheat sheet that I showed you before, but also a set where a page where I've converted these colors I'm using today into 6 additional pencil brands. So if you don't use Prismacolors, but if you do use Polychromos, Chromaflows, Luminance, Artex, etc., you'll be able to find those color combos in that packet. It is a completely 100% free download. Do not feel obligated to pay me anything. It's totally free to you. Okay, so I'll put that link in the description for you. So now I'm going in here with the sandbar brown and just going right along the edge of that stem, right? So now I will come back with the sap green light, color over the brown, and that kind of mutes that brown tone a little bit. Then I'm coloring a little lighter with sap green light as I get out to the edge here. And now I will come back in with the sky blue light. So that is how totally easy this color combo is. So easy, your mom can do it, right? Then the last thing I do is I take the dark brown down the middle of the stem. And there you go, there's your leaf. For extra credit, you could take the dark brown and outline these little lines, which I did on my page. And if you feel like you need extra depth, you can maybe run a little dark brown just on the outside of that stem. But that's it. So that's so simple, right? So that is color combo 1 for the leaves. Next, let's get started on the flower petals. I'll be right back. So the flower petals are a 3-color combo using cream, pink, rose, and henna. And you can see here, we're going to take the cream in the middle of the petal, move to pink rose, and then henna on the outside. So with that, let's go back to this page here and we can color this flower right here. It's convenient that it's right there. So we'll start out with the cream, and I'm going maybe about 1/4 of the way, 25% of the way up the petal. Is that 25%? Grade me on a curve. Then I'm going to bring in the pink rose. I'm overlapping it just a little bit. All right. Then finally the henna. Y'all probably thought I was going to pull Tuscan red because, you know, that's my favorite red in the Prisma box, but this deserved henna. So you can see how I'm kind of outlining like the shape of a C or a U here. So I'm bringing this henna down the side of the petal, side of the petal. Can't talk today. So I'm going to darken it. And then as I start moving down this section of red, I'm going to sort of streak the color. So I'll add some little streaks of red here, which might be something you'd see in flowers. You won't see a natural striping of the flower, but you might see it, the color streak a little bit. Okay, so now I'm going back to the pink rose. I'm going to take that pink rose up into this red, and that really blends those streaks a little bit better, sort of smooths them out and blurs them a little bit. I had to look for my little makeup brush. Okay, and then back to the yellow. So I'll come back up here. This paper is really nice in this book. So if you don't have this book, first of all, don't feel obligated to go buy the book if you don't have it and you're watching this video. What's really cool about these reverse color alongs is you can take these color combos and apply them to any coloring page. So there you go. Okay. So with that said, the next thing that I do is I take my red, the henna, oops, and in a much neater way that I'm doing here, I emphasize these little lines. So there's a petal there, which looks like the petal here. Now the difference here is you've got the fold, the petals overlap. And on that, I'm taking a little of the dark brown here and coloring it like a shadow where the petal sort of folds over. And then I go back in with henna along the edge and then pink rose at the very outline, as if as the flower folds over, you could see the henna down to the pink rose on the other side of the petal. So yeah, that's what I've got done. That's what I've done there. So you can apply that to all of these petals. Where you have petals overlapping, I've taken a little black and added a little shadow to show a little depth there. Yeah, so let's move on to the center or the pistil of the flower, and I will get those colors and I'll be right back. The center of the flower is another simple 3-color combo. We're going to use cream, sandbar brown, and dark brown. So you can see here, we're going to take cream and color it in a little circle. Then we'll add a little sandbar brown outside that, and then the dark brown out. So you're making a letter C. You have a circle and then letter C and letter C. So let's practice this over here. So we'll pretend this is solid. So we're going to make a little circle here with the cream. And then we're going to take the sandbar brown around that. And then the dark brown. Again, we're just making a letter C. So it looks sort of like a gradient. You've got a really dark brown on the outside. You've got a sandbar brown coming in. And then the very edge here, you can just come back with your cream and just sort of blend it all together. So that's as simple as that is. That is super easy, super simple to do. Let's see. So going back here, these are just straight brown. This is taking the dark brown and just straight brown, coloring that right there. That's all that that is. So on the flower here, I think you've got everything you need. So we did the petal, the center, and these little, this stamen, I think is what we would call that. So again, I'm just using the black for the shadows. I've also, where the flower overlaps both the leaves and the snake, I've added a little black smudgy line to give that a little depth to show that that flower is sitting above the snake a little bit. Also here when it overlaps the leaves there. So next what we will do is we will talk about the color combos and how I colored the snake, and we'll be right back. Before we color the snake, I wanted to cover these little flower buds real quick. I apologize that that was an oversight on my part. So it's the same color combo we used on the petals. We have cream to pink rose to henna. And then on the leaves here, I just used sap green and sandbar brown, and moving down into the stem, I pulled a dark brown. But these are colored the same way as the other petals. The only difference is that on this little interior spot where all the petals come together, I've taken henna and mixed a little dark brown in there to give it some shadow. Right along this line here, you can see I've added a little black smudge line to add a little depth perception between the leaves, and a little bit down here. I think that covers all the flowers. So now, for real this time, let's start on the snake. The snake is this very simple 3-color combo: pink rose, henna, and dark brown. So let's talk about the snake. So first of all, the scales. The scales are all pink rose, henna, and dark brown. And you can see it's just graduating. So the pink rose is always at the top of the little circle, the top of that arch. And then the henna comes next, and then the dark brown. On these little circles, it's just pink rose and henna. So you color pink rose on most of the circle, and then at the bottom of the circle, you would take your henna and just make a letter C, and then you would color that in just to blend it. So that's the circles and the scales. I repeated that across this entire snake. Now it feels like a lot of individual sections to blend 3 colors with, but I promise you, once you get started, you'll get into a zone and it will move really quickly. Here, again, as I said earlier, this is just straight dark brown. So these little empty sections are dark brown. On the other side of these circles where you have these little spaces, you could either continue the scales up. I chose to put dark brown in there, but that's just me. So like in these little sections here. So now on these little stripy sections, I just went straight henna, pink rose, henna, pink rose, henna, pink rose. So that went really quick. Now on the snake head up here, just following what I've done for the scales, I did pink rose into henna. And then I was going to do the whole head in dark brown, and then I thought, no, I'm going to shade it around a little bit. So then I went pink rose to henna back this way, and then pulled the dark brown around this little gemstone. And then you can see I honored the same color combo here with the scales around the eye. And then pink, just, following the pink, rose, henna, dark brown from the mouth up here. And then the eye, I just took some yellow Prismacolors, made the little slit black, colored pink, rose, and henna. And then I think I used sandbar brown here. Maybe sandbar or dark brown. I think it's sandbar brown. So that is real easy. Now on the gemstone, I went pink, rose, henna, and then dark brown on the edge here. And there is 2 little circles that are on the original design. And after I finished coloring this, I used my white Posca pen to cover that up, to cover up the lines, and made it look like reflections on the gemstone to make it look more 3D. Okay, so I think for the snake, that's it. I did add a little shadow with black Prismacolor around the outside of the eye here. These little sections around the gemstone are pink rose to henna, and added a little black out here, black on the nostrils, but that's really it. So why don't we color some of this combo back here on this page. And let's see if we can find something. Maybe this flower here would be a little similar. So let me zoom in on that and I'll be right back. Okay, so these are similar arches to the scales, so we'll use this. So I'm going to show you, this is how this can go pretty quick. I'm just taking this pink rose and I'm dragging it across this row. Now, one thing I noticed in this book is that when I take this very light color, sometimes it picks up the black ink, you can see it here, and smears it across. So, your mileage may vary on that. So now I'm taking the henna and just sort of gently going across that part of the flower. Or sorry, this would be your snake scales. And then dark brown at the very bottom, giving that a really nice, good, vibrant brown there. Then taking the henna and taking the henna back down over the dark brown, going back up on these supposed scales, and then taking the pink rose again and really blending that to get that effect. All right, let's do some more. Let's do another row. So we'll do another row with the pink rose. Then we'll take the henna. And then the dark brown here. And you can see that dark brown from one row to the next. It provides a little separation and depth between those two rows. Makes it look a little more 3D. And then at the end, going back with the pink rose. So that's how the snake scales are done. It's really pretty easy peasy. So I think that's it for the snake and the flowers. The last thing I want to talk about is the background and the embellishments. So let me get those supplies and I'll be right back. Here are the 3 Distress ink colors that I used for this page. So we've got Bundled Sage, which is very green, a greenish blue Speckled Egg, which you've seen me use on other pages, and then Iced Spruce, which is a grayish, bluish green. So with those 3, what you'll see is I took the Bundled Sage and I put Bundled Sage over, I cover the entire page in Bundled Sage. Now I do have a video on how to color a Distress ink background after you've already colored the image. Probably about 90% of the time I'm doing my background with Distress ink after I've colored the main page. So I took Bundled Sage and did the entire background in between all these spaces, out to the edges, etc. The entire thing, Bundled Sage. Then I came back with Speckled Egg and Iced Spruce. So Speckled Egg, I started just, you can see here, it's a little bluer. I just started like layering in Speckled Egg randomly around the page. And at the end, you can see I've got this darker outline. That is the Iced Spruce. So what I can do is show you on this page, and we'll pretend that this page is colored in maybe along this edge here. Okay, so I've got my Bundled Sage. I'm going to take my little blending tool and these blending foams and sort of rub it in here. And then I just start laying down the color. And so even if this were colored, so just like right here, I'm not afraid to go over the pencil art I've already done because this is a fairly light color. You might lose a little of your sky blue light, but it won't be much. So let's just pretend these are all colored in and I'm Distress inking over this page. Okay, so you're gonna do a layer of the Bundled Sage just like that. Next comes the Speckled Egg. So now with the Speckled Egg, same thing here. You can see how that adds a little bit of a bluer tint to the page. Yeah. So that's where I would just kind of start layering in the Speckled Egg. So that adds another layer of color. It's sort of subtle, but it's really nice. The last thing that I'll do, and let me turn over my cheat sheet here. All right, the last thing that we'll do is we'll take the Iced Spruce, and this is where we're going to make that darker corner that I talk about. I like my edges darker and my corners to be really super dark. And I'd probably come along these edges here. And that's how you get that. And then you can go in and find places where maybe it goes from dark to super light. And in that case, you could come back in with Speckled Egg, or you could add a little more of your green. But that's how I did that entire page. So let me go back and get some of the pens that I use for the embellishments, and I'll be right back. So I added a note here for you guys for the embellishments. I used a white Posca pen, and I also used a metallic gold paint pen. So here, this metallic gold is a Prismacolor Premier metallic gold paint pen. I don't know if you can buy these individually or not, but any gold paint pen would work. This came with my set of Prismacolor alcohol markers. It had gold and silver in there, so that's where I got this. And then just our normal Posca pen. So here, if we take a look at the page, especially on the flowers, I've got gold. So I just felt like when I looked at this page, it needs gold. So I speckled gold. There's a lot of, the original line art has circles on the flowers. So I covered the circles with I just took my gold and did little dabs over those circles. So all of those circles that you see on the flower will have the gold just dabbed in there, just a little doop doop dab. So same thing up here, over here. So did that on all the flowers. Then I came back on the flowers and added a couple little white dots just with my Posca pen, just kind of like dotting it in, just a couple little dots here and there. So not to overdo it, but that's how I did the flowers. So the flowers have gold and white speckles. Then I carried that to the outside of the page. So I don't know if you could see this very well or not, but down here, I've got a lot of the larger gold, just kind of dabbled in here. I did a lot of gold, and then I kind of went up and along the page here, but most of the dots on this page are in the corners. And then I stuck some gold kind of here and there in between the middle spots. And then also went back in with my white Posca pen and did the same. And I think here I can tell maybe I used 2 Posca pen sizes. Yeah, I did. So most of these dots are on the corners. And then again, I just speckled some on the inside here. And that's how you get the gold and white speckles on this page. So if we come back over here to this page, I would just start out with some gold speckles here. So he had some gold speckles on the flower petal here, and then added a couple little white dots. And then up here in the corners, I did a lot of the dots. Oops, don't get it on the leaf. Well, you can, it doesn't matter. And then I just kind of added them throughout the page as you just kind of go along. But most of the concentration is in the corners. Okay, with that, I will wrap it up. As I said before, I will make this cheat sheet available. I'll put a link to my Ko-fi account in the description for this video. Again, just as a reminder, it is a 100% free to you download. Please don't feel pressured or anything to pay money for it. So this is completely free. You're not hurting my feelings. Okay, I create these because I want to share them with you guys. So all of this will be out there along with the pencil conversion chart, and I will also include a copy of the finished picture for your reference, and then I'll also include a finished picture before I applied, if I have it. I think I do. I can't promise it, but I think I've got a picture of this before I applied the background. So that will help you see the colors better. Sometimes I think if you don't have the background done yet. So with that said, I think that's it for today. This is a super short one. Again, I hope you agree with me that this is probably the easiest color along that we've got out there right now. And I thank you so much for tuning in today and joining me, and I will see you next time.